Let's continue the cyclic AMP pathway. Here three subunits, it is alpha, beta and gamma subunits are attached to the G protein coupled receptor, and to the receptor, when a hormone binds to the receptor, this G protein coupled receptor gets activated, and this alpha subunit gets detached from the beta and gamma subunits. This alpha G protein unit, it go and bind to the adenyl cyclase, which is anchored in the plasma membrane protruding into the cytosol. This adenyl cyclase enzyme is helpful for converting ATP into the cyclic AMP. This adenyl cyclase enzyme will be inactive until this alpha specific G protein binds to the adenyl cyclase. Then only it becomes active. This ATP is converted into cyclic AMP by the in the presence of adenyl cyclase enzyme, and this cyclic AMP binds to the protein kinase A, that is two regulatory units. When this cyclic AMP binds to the regulatory units, these regulatory units undergo some conformation change, and these catalytic units undergo dissociation, and these catalytic units then become enzymatically active and then enters into the cytoplasm, then into the nucleus. An increase in cyclic AMP activate the transcription of specific target genes that contain a regulatory sequence called the CAMP response element, that is CRE. In this case, the signal is carried from the cytoplasm into the nucleus by catalytic subunit of protein kinase A, which is able to enter the nucleus following its release from the regulatory subunit. Within the nucleus, this protein kinase A phosphorylates a transcription factor called CREB for CRE binding protein, leading to the recruitment of co-activators and the transcription of CAMP inducible genes. Such regulation of gene expression by CAMP cyclic AMP plays an important role in controlling proliferation, survival, migration, apoptosis and differentiation of a wide variety of animal cells, as well as it's being implicated in learning and memory as well. Protein kinase A is an important enzyme, a particular enzyme that is involved in the cyclic AMP pathway. Now let's see the activation of protein kinase A by cyclic AMP. Here the protein, as we already know, the protein kinase A is composed of 4 units, 2 catalytic and 2 regulatory subunits. In the absence of cyclic AMP, the regulatory subunits inhibit the catalytic subunits. So what happens in the presence of cyclic AMP? In the presence of cyclic AMP, protein kinase A bind to the regulatory subunits, causing the regulatory subunits to change conformation. This change in conformation causes the catalytic units to dissociate from the or detach from the regulatory subunits, and now the catalytic catalytic units are now enzymatically they are active and can phosphorylate target proteins in the cells. That is, they enter the cytoplasm and the nucleus and they phosphorylate target proteins in the cell. So it is the synthesis and degradation of cyclic AMP. So cyclic AMP is synthesized from ATP in the presence of adenyl cyclase enzyme, and cyclic AMP is degraded to simple AMP by the enzyme cyclic AMP phosphodiesterase. So what are the roles of G proteins and cyclic AMP in signal transduction? G proteins mediate signal transduction through G protein linked receptors. When a messenger or ligand binds to its receptor, the GS protein is activated. In inactive state, these alpha, beta and gamma subunits are present as a complex with this GDP bound to the alpha subunit. So in this first step, when a receptor is activated by binding of its specific ligand on the outer surface of this plasma membrane, the receptor messenger complex associates with GS alpha protein causing the displacement of GDP by GTP and the dissociation of GS alpha GTP complex. The GTP GS alpha complex then binds tightly to a molecule of membrane bound adenyl cyclase, activating it for the synthesis of cyclic AMP, and activation ends only when this bound messenger or ligand leaves the receptor. The GTP is hydrolyzed back to GDP by the GTPase activity of the GS alpha subunit, and the GS alpha dissociates from the adenyl cyclase. And then in the fourth step, the adenyl cyclase then reverts to the inactive form, that is the initial form, and the GS alpha deassociates with the GS beta gamma complex. So, and in the fifth step, the cyclic AMP molecules in the cytosol are hydrolyzed to AMP by the enzyme phosphodiesterase in the cell. The enzyme phosphodiesterase degrades the cyclic AMP. So by seeing all this, it is made sure that the signal transduction pathway will shut down properly when the concentration of the ligand outside the cell declines. And an increase in cyclic AMP concentration can produce different effects in different cells. For example, when cyclic AMP is elevated in skeletal muscle and liver cells, the breakdown of glycogen is stimulated. In cardiac muscle, the elevation of cyclic AMP strengthens the heart contraction, whereas in smooth muscle, contraction is inhibited. In blood platelets, the elevation of cyclic AMP inhibits their metabolization during blood clotting, and in intestinal epithelial cells, it causes the secretion of salts and water into the lumen of the gut. Each of these reactions is an example of pre-programmed response. In fact, if the concentration of cyclic AMP is artificially raised in these different types of cells, this same cellular response can be triggered even in the absence of the ligand by using two different ways. That is, either by stimulating cyclic AMP production directly or by inhibiting the enzyme phosphodiesterases, which degrades cyclic AMP. Now let's see cyclic guanosine monophosphate as a second messenger. Cyclic GMP is synthesized from the nucleotide GTP using the enzyme guanyl cyclase. And cyclic GMP serves as a second messenger for atrial natriuretic peptide ANP, nitric oxide, response of the rods of the retina to light. And some of the effects of CGMP or cyclic GMP are mediated through protein kinase G, a CGMP dependent protein kinase that phosphorylates target proteins in the cells. Whereas in cyclic AMP, we have used a particular protein called A. In cyclic GMP or guanosine monophosphate is a cyclic nucleotide derived from guanosine triphosphate, that is GTP. It acts much like a cyclic AMP, and the actions of cyclic GMP in these cells are terminated by enzymatic degradation of the cyclic nucleotide and by the dephosphorylation of kinase substrate. Increased CGMP concentration causes the relaxation of vascular smooth muscle by a kinase-mediated mechanism that results in a dephosphorylation of myosin light chains. There are actually two mechanisms for the synthesis of cyclic GMP. That is atrial natriuretic peptide, and the other mechanism mediates responses to nitric oxide. In the atrial natriuretic peptide way, a blood-borne peptide hormone stimulates a transmembrane receptor by binding to its extracellular domain, thereby activating the guanyl cyclase activity that resides in the receptor's intracellular domain, whereas nitric oxide is generated in vascular endothelial cells in response to natural vasodilator agents such as acetylcholine and histamine. After entering the target cells, the nitric oxide binds to and activates cytoplasmic guanylyl cyclase. So in this cyclic GMP pathway, this is the plasma membrane. Here there on the surface of the plasma membrane there is a guanylyl cyclase which is activated by the atrial natriuretic peptide, and inside the plasma membrane there is a soluble guanylyl cyclase which is activated by the nitric oxide. This nitric oxide is actually came from the blood vessel. So this is a blood vessel, and this is the endothelial lining of the blood vessels, and when certain stimuli is or against some certain stimuli or against acetylcholine, this endothelial lining of the blood vessel releases nitric oxide. This nitric oxide then diffuses into the plasma membrane or cell membrane, and this nitric oxide then activates this guanylyl cyclase. This guanylyl cyclase which converts GTP into the cyclic GMP. While talking about the cell membrane, we are actually talking about the cell membrane of a smooth muscle cells. So these are actually happening in the muscle cells. So this cGMP then activates protein kinase G, and this protein kinase G phosphorylate a protein called phospholambdin. In cell there is a organelle called endoplasmic reticulum. Inside the endoplasmic reticulum there is a store of calcium, and on the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum there is a pump called sarcoplasmic endoplasmic calcium ATPase pump. This pump uptake the calcium which is present outside the endoplasmic reticulum into the endoplasmic reticulum. This calcium ATPase pump takes all the calcium stores or ions present outside the endoplasmic reticulum into the inside. Thus, it leads to depletion or decreased calcium ions outside the endoplasmic membrane. Thus, there is no contraction as the calcium ions is due to calcium ions decrease, and there is a relaxation. This is the first function of protein kinase G. In second function, this protein kinase G they phosphorylate this IP3 receptor, the ionocetyl triphosphate receptors. These ionocetyl triphosphate receptors are present on the surface of this endoplasmic reticulum. When these ionocetyl triphosphate receptors are phosphorylate, these IP3 ionocetyl triphosphate will not bind to this IP3 receptors. So again there is a calcium reduction and no contraction. Thus there is a relaxation. So in this third function is protein kinase G actually. So just think this in a scenario: if the IP3 receptors are not phosphorylated, then what happens? Then the calcium ions present inside the endoplasmic reticulum comes out, and the IP3 ionocetyl triphosphate can easily bind to the IP3 receptors. Only because the IP3 receptors are phosphorylated, these IP3 cannot bind to the IP3 receptors, and the calcium cannot go out. So there is a calcium reduction and no contraction, therefore relaxation. Now talking about the degradation of cyclic GMP, numerous cyclic nucleotide phosphodiesterases can degrade cyclic GMP by hydrolyzing cyclic GMP into the 5-GMP. Phosphodiesterase inhibitors prevent the degradation of cyclic GMP, thereby enhancing or prolonging its effects. For examples, sildenafil, that is Viagra, and similar drugs enhance the vasodilatory effects of cGMP. This is used as a treatment for erectile dysfunction.